There is a movement in the world called divination, which, just like the belief in God, is very fanatical about deceiving one's fellow human beings. Everything is taken from the same cupboard for this, as where the fantasy books can be found, which are about the gnomes at the end of the rainbow, who await us with a pot full of gold and a basin with the elixir of life. Fortune tellers, allied mystics, and other storytellers are very skilled at reading body language and through smart questions, can figure out what their clients want to hear. The gullible likes to believe in what is presented because one wants to lose the fear that the uncertainty of life offers. One really comes out lighter from a session where this is mainly experienced in the wallet. This happens to all sorts of people, including those who are very learned and should know better. But somewhere it appears that a solid seed of fear has been planted in the upbringing, which has thus come to fruition. Fortune tellers and mediums in all variations can be found worldwide in all peoples and races with their own titles and methods. In Suriname, for example, the quacks call themselves Banyaman, Pyaingi, and Duman, or Duvrau, and the bad variant is the so-called Wisaman and Obiaman. In Asia, it is called Dukuan, who, in addition to being a masseur, also practices guna guna, so black magic. Then you have the shaman and other unknown dark Indian gurus. And the pundit, Hindu cleric, does not want to be left behind and also contributes in a quirky way with undefined mantras. These are largely from his own input, a small portion of which has been generated from the Vedic scriptures for credibility, for the benefit of his goals. In poor countries, including Haiti, Indonesia, Suriname, Nigeria, Guatemala, Bolivia, Mexico, etc., the profession Banyaman, natural healer, seems to be trendy and feasible for anyone who has just a little guts. In itself, the theatrical healing method of these native herbalists looks innocent on the one hand. But the saddest part of it all is that they firmly believe that they possess special powers and that their ingenious hocus pocus offers to heal. It therefore looks very fake and amateurish to the unbelieving person. Furthermore, these types of figures brew potions and ointments with all kinds of known and unknown herbs. They claim it has medicinal properties and healing, while their concoctions and spreads consist of filth. Furthermore, they mess around like the devil himself with all kinds of self-made amulets. And they make up on the spot a variety of gibberish incantations derived from biblical texts. Then they mumble this abracadabra in nonsensical unintelligible gibberish that is explained as the language of the spirits. Walking on shards of glass and on fire is no art for those who are trained in this and have enough calluses under their feet. But to the gullible populace, they are the great wizards. Not only in Suriname and other disadvantaged countries is this popular deceit and superstition practiced as an everyday activity, but these follies are therefore found all over the world. Predicting the future is impossible, for then it would mean that the future is fixed, otherwise one could not predict it. This line of thought characterizes the well-known religious tinge. The future is not fixed, only the super-believers think very differently about this. They view their worldly affairs as their destiny according to biblical stories. Yet people continue to complain when something negative happens to them instead of accepting it. If things are going well for them, their God gets into the dark corner, but when there are events that they don't want in their lives, they are on their knees with the book of their God of choice in their hands asking for his help that always go unanswered. The method of the witch doctors in the primitive lands corresponds to the method of the Western hot air salesman. They have dressed their dubious practices in a modern Western jacket. They all must rely on the gullible and the naive. People and institutions based on religion are simply evil because they still proclaim their God book and associated fairy tales as the truth. The Church and its saints forgive all believers without exception regardless of what they have done wrong, as long as they give money to the Church and remain faithful to the belief in God. But their God loves everyone, right? So that is also fortune-telling that you must pay for. Predicting the future is just as fake as the twisted folk histories and religious fairy tales that appear in the Quran, the Torah, the Bible, and other religious books. If the fortune teller's purpose in life is to tell people what lies ahead, then why isn't it told how you can hold on to happiness when you're lucky? Or how to prevent the accident from striking? What's amazing is that fortune tellers don't help people win big lotteries with their gifts either. Money makes people who are short of money cheerful and happy. Whoever came up with the saying that money doesn't buy happiness was insane. It is precisely money that makes you happy, but the greed that is attached to it clearly does not. Divination is a matter of knowledge, statistics, observation, and self-confidence. Everything that a medium wants to convey is reflected in what it does. How he or she looks to appear impressive. The attitude with which one presents oneself. What will happen depends on what has happened and can therefore be predicted very well with good observation and knowledge. Those who expect something to happen usually have a clear reason for it, which also makes it possible to know this in advance. But the future is not fixed. It depends on coincidences. A lot of people, such as mediums and religious preachers, are fantasists who try to fill a gap in their lives by clinging to a god and/or belief in the supernatural. These religious fantasists do not realize that they themselves are very short-minded and do not want to broaden their outlook on life for fear of becoming less important. To find spiritual peace, legions of people worldwide have become Buddhists in recent decades. Others enter the monastery and experience beneficial effects for psychological reasons, and not because of the rituals that are characteristic of Buddhism and some monasteries. This inner peace can also be found in seclusion in nature. Yet there are plenty of institutions that teach courses in the paranormal and charge huge amounts for teaching mysterious energies. The larger the amount of money requested, the bigger the scam. If they talk about life force as coming from a dark source that only they know about, then this should also be clear to everyone that the fairy tales there enjoy full attention. Especially the socially weak in society who are desperately looking for a solution for their colorless or unhappy existence are often the victims here. So, people, take care of yourself and use your common sense. Life is as it is. You can't escape or bend it by praying or letting someone look into your future. Learn your lessons and take charge of your own future.